Hello, I'm the surgeon from the War of 1812. What I do is take care of people after a battle. Now, if you're in a battle, you get wounded and injured, you end up coming to me and I fix you up. Now, if you come to me, I have no way of putting you to sleep. So, any kind of operation I do on you, you have to remember, you're fully awake and watching while we do. The first thing we do is we get your big burly buddies to hold you down on the table so you don't squirm. And we put something like a big piece of wood in your mouth so that we don't have to hear you screaming. So, you come in, you've been shot in the arm. What do we do with your arm? The only thing I can do is cut it off. In order to cut it off, the first thing we have to do is stop the flow of blood. And what I've got here is called a tourniquet. I wrap that around your arm and tighten it until the blood stops flowing. Once we've got that nice and tight, then what I can do is take the capital knife, sharpen the middle, and cut the flesh away from your bone. Now, we're going to need someone, one of my assistants will have to hold that flesh away from the bone, while I take the capital saw and saw through the bone. Now, as you can well imagine, you're lying on the table, not screaming, in massive pain. So what we do as a good surgeon, as a fast surgeon, I'm going to cut through that bone as quickly as I can, 2/3, 3/4 of the way through that bone, as quickly as I can, and when I get near the end, I'm going to snap the bone, and that way, you're off the table as quick as possible. So, now you're done, I'm going to fix you up, so to speak, but what happens if you get a glancing blow to the head, and your brain begins to swell? What do we do for that? Well, what we have to do is stop the swelling. In order to do that, what we do is we have to use this tool here, which is called a trepanner. Now, the first thing we do when we're doing a trepanation is we need our retractors. The retractors will pull the flesh away. Oh, I forgot. First thing we have to do is we have to make a cut in the top of your scalp. Then, and of course, someone's going to have to be holding you down for this. Then what we do is we take the retractors and pull the flesh away from your skull. Now that that's done, now I can take the trepanner and bore a hole in the top of your skull. And once I've done that, it'll relieve the pressure on the brain, and I guarantee you'll be headache-free for life. So, some of the other tools that we have, and some of the other issues is, if you've been shot in the chest, there's absolutely nothing I can do for you. Well, there is something I can do. You'd be shot with what's here is a 1-ounce lead ball. That's going to be stuck somewhere in you, or it's gone through you. So what I have to do, first of all, is extract that ball. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to find it, and I'm going to find it with a ball probe. Stick this into your chest, feel around till I can feel that piece of lead stuck somewhere in the back of your bones. And now I'm going to do anything I can to try to get that piece of lead out of your chest. And oh, I can't seem to do it, but what I've got here, fortunately for you, is a ball extractor. Now remember, you're pinned on the ground watching. I take the ball extractor, stick that in your wound, find that lead ball, and screw it into the soft lead in your chest until I can get purchased on the ball. And then pull it out. Lead is soft, but it's not that soft. So now we've got the ball out of your chest. What's going to happen? Well, we have to sew you up. So I've got my nice suture and thread, and I'll sew the wound up. But what's going to happen in about a week or two after the accident? Now remember, I don't clean my hands when I operate. I don't clean my instruments when I operate. What do you think is going to happen in a week or two? That wound is going to swell with pus. And what I've got here is called a trocar. What I'm going to do with the trocar is stick that in your chest and drain the pus out of your chest. Now, if that pus is oozing out clear or yellow, we call that the good pus, or the laudable pus. If it's draining out black or green, you're not long for this world. If you're feeling a little under the weather, what you probably need is a good bloodletting. What we'll do for that is, one, we can use the leeches, and we'll put leeches on your skin till they're all nice and full and take them off. Or what we can do is we'll take the bleeding bowl. I've got a nice sharp lancet. We'll make an incision in your wrist, and we'll draw blood till you feel a little better. We'll take about a pint. If that doesn't make you feel better, we can take another one till you do feel better. So, bleeding is an integral part of post-operative care. Now we've discussed what happens during the operation, but after the operation we want to make sure that the patient heals properly. So in order to do that, we want to purge their system to make sure that their bodies can heal properly. And what I've got here is some calomel, which you'll drink, it will cause you to vomit. Lucky for you, that's only half the problem. So what we have to do is we have to fix the other end. And this is called a clister syringe. And you can guess where that goes. So, we've talked about the lancet and bleeding with a lancet. However, if we want to do localized bleeding, what we can do is use what's called a fleam. And you can see the nice sharp points. We'll put that on the part of your body that we want to operate on, and I take my fleam stick and hit it with the fleam and cause a series of cuts in your flesh, and you'll bleed out of those fleshes. So if you have a bit of a sore leg or whatnot, I can fix that up in a flash for you. Now, after we've done the fleam, what I can do is we can either wet or dry cup. So I heat this cup over a spirit lamp till it's nice and warm, and I'm going to put it over the area that I've just done the fleam, and the blood will flow into the cup. That's called wet cupping. Now if you have something like consumption, which nowadays we would call tuberculosis, it's a very bad illness, and we heat the cup up and put it on your back and chest, and that will draw the poisons into the cup. That's called dry cupping. So we can do either wet or dry cupping depending on your particular illness. What happens if you get a sore tooth? Well, I can fix that problem. What we do is we're going to take it out and make you feel better. What I've got here is called a tooth key. We hook this around your tooth, give it a quick snap, and out she comes. Are you ready?